my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming, and welcome back, guys, to Pitch or Die. Very excited about this episode. I get to just pitch whatever I want because nobody gave me any ideas this time, so really excited. But before we get into just a quick disclaimer before I do anything. My throat is killing me. I just did Axiom. Just got off of that. And for some reason, my throat hurts this week. It's pooping the last week. It's throat hurt this week. I don't know what's wrong with me. Just 40 and aging. But bear with me, guys. Sorry about that. Sorry about that in my voice. That out of the way, what is Pitch or Die? Well, I'm going to pitch you guys a game in the next 10 to 12 minutes. I'm going to pitch you the developer, what the game is, all based on a premise that either was supplied by the commenters or something I just came up with myself. Then you guys get to go to the comments and tell me whether this pitch dies on the floor or whether this is a great pitch of a game that you'd like to play. But before we get into the pitch, I always read comments from last week. Last week, I pitched Beyond Good and Evil Part 2, but without Ubisoft involved. So let's see what people had to say about that. Number one, Joshua Darlington just comments, woo, because he comments woo on every one of my things. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. Then he went ahead and continued. If Ubisoft Current isn't touching it, then we are good to go. PS exclusive would suck, but I would absolutely love Ghost. But I absolutely loved Ghost of Tsushima. I didn't get to play Ghost of Tsushima, but I did pick them as the Beyond Good and Evil 2 developer if it wasn't Ubisoft. Apparently, everybody hates Ubisoft nowadays, which is fair, I suppose. That being said, thank you for those comments there, Josh. Then William Hohen, hi! Exclamation point. 20 years ago, you're right. Ouch, I'm so old now. Great idea for a developer. Totally agree there. A sequel is quite hard to imagine, as the first one is some type of cliffhanger to it, discovering who she is. IRC, it's been a while for me too. But anyway, you did a great with the pitch. I like the three factions and would give a great replayability. That was great. Thanks. P.S. Hope you feel better soon. I'm feeling better in one area, feeling a little bit worse in the other, but literally, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Just a little throat's getting to me. Too much talking, I suppose. So that's what you guys had to say. I guess that's a good pitch. We're going to do another pitch this week. No suggestions last week, so I'm very excited to just pitch my own thing this week. I've been kind of waiting for one of these weeks. So here we go. What am I pitching today? What am I pitching today? We got to get into it. Well, there's a lot of news out about Skull and Crossbones, the Ubisoft Pirate open world game coming. Pirates are a little bit big right now, so I decided let's go ahead and pitch a pirate game, ladies and gentlemen. Let's pitch one hard. So, that being said, we're pitching a pirate game. And here we go. First, its developer. What developer is going to make this pirate game? Well, my pirate game has a very interesting pitch to it. It has something that I think other pirate games are lacking, and why I'm excited about it. But the developer that I need to do will need to be able to procedurally generate characters like nobody else. They will have to have first hand motion because this is going to be a game rooted in character conversation and character interaction as well as your other stuff. So they're going to have that procedural generation background. So I picked, and this is crazy, but bear with me, Undead Labs. They are the creators of State of Decay 1 and 2. State of Decay 2 being one of my all-time favorite games, and that's a zombie hunting, a zombie survival game where you build up a base with a procedurally generated amount of characters called survivals, and you can switch between each one of them. And that's what we're going to do with this pirate game. We're going to have a lot of fun with this because basically you will spawn in to a ship newly ousted. You've ousted the captain, much like old Sid Meier's Pirates. You've become, a buccaneer, taking control of a ship, and those shipmates are immediately procedurally generated. So you'll get different abilities. Maybe some of them are good at the cannons, some of them are good at the helm, whatever. And you can switch between each of them to do whatever you want at the time. Do you want to control the sails? All right, well, you'll switch to the guy who's running mass. Do you want to control the cannons? You'll switch to that guy. Do you want to control the dude behind the wheel? You'll switch to that guy. So you have this NPC crew, but you don't have a specific you player. And I think that'll make this game really interesting because what this game is going to be about is managing those personal interactions between each pirate. So, in the actual thing of the game, it will be a third person. You'll be able to take control of one of your pirates at a time. You'll obviously sail ships around, do privateering things, but basically, much like Undead Labs is good at doing just a very vague kind of overarching plot, that's what this is going to be. You're just trying to become an infamous pirate. You're just trying to do your own thing. You can pick one of the famous factions to work for from the old Indian Ocean days, such as the Dutch, the Spanish, the French, or the Dutch, Spanish, French. There was one other, and I can't remember it. So, the British, of course. Or you can just stay straight pirate, do your own thing. But this will be very interesting because you'll also be able to set up outposts on different islands. All of these islands will also be procedurally generated, which might be a little bit of a stretch for our friends at Undead Labs because they usually just procedurally generate characters, but I think they can do this. So when you will start a game, it will procedurally generate your section of the Indian Ocean with different islands to explore, where the factions are placed, and the factions are constantly at war with each other and shifting, and you get to decide how you interact with that. And that's one of the fun things about procedurally generated games like this is you really get to decide how you interact with each section of the game. Now, Undead Labs is really good at doing stuff like this. So I think obviously they need a lot of money with this, and the procedurally generated islands and terrain is not something they've done before, but I think they can handle it well. The second part of this game will, of course, be on the ships, where your pirates will be interacting with each other. You'll be able to decide how they're basically so often interpersonal relationship things will come up. Will they argue with each other? Will they become friends? Will they get into trouble? Will they facilitate bad stuff? Like maybe you've got a pirate ship of a lot of really well skilled pirates, but because they all have a drinking problem together, they tend to drink too much and kind of not man their posts. And you get to kind of decide how those stories kind of progress between each character here and there. So you have this while you're sailing kind of meta social play, which is very interesting, while also having the combat aspects, the boarding aspects, and all that fun stuff from a veteran studio such as Undead Labs. And then what you could do is you could just do so much with this. You can really define how you play. And Undead Labs really did that great with the State of Decay 2 games. Really, like, there is, like, the maps are pre made, but it's kind of like here is the map, here are your procedurally generated survivors. Decide how you want to do this. What base are you going to use? What stuff are you going to use? Are you going to keep these survivors? Are you going to get rid of them? Are they going to walk the plank or not for pirates? And that's what this is going to be all about. It's going to be about that personal management while also playing them. You'll have your favorites. They will level up as the time goes by. They'll also have the fifth slot kind of situation, much like State of Decay 2, that are invaluable to building a ship, keeping it running. Obviously, you'll have to get more ships as you go along, but you can also find new procedurally generated pirates at ports and hiring them, but they'll have hiring restrictions. Maybe they'll only work for a crew that's working for the British. Maybe they'll only work for a crew that's working for pirates. Stuff like that. This will just make such an interesting game with all these events happening in the same random order, much like that of State of Decay 2. I think this could be a really cool, interesting new pirate game. I think it could harken back to Sid Meier's Pirates while being its own thing in the modern era. So that's it. That's my pitch for a new pirate game. What do you guys think? Did I miss it? Did I whiff? Or did I hit it right on the head? Would you like to get involved in a procedurally generated, design your own kind of story pirate game? Or are you more, yeah, this isn't for me? You guys get to decide and tell me whether this died on the floor or whether this is a pitch for the ages. Of course, post your comments below and anywhere you can post them. And I'm going to say right now, I will attempt to pitch anything that you guys put forth. I did also get a weird Discord message that I want to cover from somebody called Backdraft. They asked me, they specifically said related to Pitch or Die, but they asked me if I had played the Monster Rancher games. I have not, but if you want me to pitch a Monster Rancher game of any sort, Let me know in the comments below because you never actually said you did. And I will do the research. I will. I never played a Shinobi game and I pitched that. So anything you guys want to hear, any ideas, throw them at me. And until then, you can reach us on Facebook at OldManGamingTH, on Twitter at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord. Links in the description below. You can influence us in all of our shows from there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as long as you keep watching and listening, I'll keep making it. What do you think? Undead Labs Pirates? Pitch or did it die? See you guys next week.